welcome along to Q&A number 40. We're at 40 people. This is the 40th one, so yeah, a whole load of replays and stuff in the background, but there's something cool coming to sort through all that. But to get into it, questions that come in from members, and if you're watching this live and you have questions as well, you can ask after I address members' questions first. So, first question came in from Brian, and the question was, if money was no object, what guitar would I buy and why? To be totally honest, I would get a backup Baby Taylor, as unexciting as that sounds. The reason is I just love the Baby Taylor, and I'm not affiliated with them, wish I was, but like I just love that guitar. So yeah, there's no other, like the Eddie Van Halen guitar came a close second. All right. Oh, on a side note, if I could own an original Eddie Van Halen guitar, if money was no object, yes, it would be that one he played. Alrighty, so next question came in, and I'm gonna get on this one. Any tips on how to be more confident playing and singing in front of others? So this is from somebody who posts regularly in our community, and but doing it in real life. They're looking for tips around playing and singing in front of others. Right, so the first thing is, when it comes to confidently playing and singing in front of others, I think the confidence comes after you've gotten out there and you've sung and played in front of others. Confidence, like, yeah, you can do visualization exercises and mantras and like affirmations and things to build self-confidence, but the greatest sense of confidence comes from just getting out of the comfort zone, doing the thing in as controlled an environment as you can, and I'll get on to that in a sec. And what I'd say is, like, to play and sing in front of a small group first. Like, there was a time where a student of mine, a younger student, wouldn't take part in a student concert, and they told me they weren't feeling confident about it. And I just want to check here. I think my video is back. Yes, okay. They weren't feeling confident and they didn't want to do the concert. And instead of it being a yes or no, you know, okay, you're not feeling confident, so you're not going to do it. I had a couple of minutes with them. I had the parents' permission, and I chatted with them for a couple of minutes. And I was just curious. And if you can get curious around what stops you singing and playing in front of others, you might unearth some unconscious rules, unwritten rules you've set for yourself. So in this case with this student, I asked them, I said, so you don't want to play in front of a crowd? And they said no. And roughly, if I was to guess their age, early teens they were. And I was curious, and I said, but have you played in front of crowds in school? And they said, oh yeah. And I said, well, okay, cool. So what's different about this crowd here in this venue that we do the student concert in and school? And, you know, two common human nature ones are, well, they're a part of a group performing in school. And that was one. Now, that's one thing as an adult you can use to your advantage. If it's too daunting to get out there and play on your own in front of people, get one other person. And for example, I'll just say, maybe your sister gigs, right? If you're to do a song with your sister at a gig, or to do 2 or 3 songs, step a little bit out with that. So then at the end of a night you could go, okay, I played in front of a crowd and I had one person with me, or 2 maybe, and I played 1 to 2 songs. So straight away you're stepping outside and you're doing it within a controlled environment. And in the case of the student I spoke with, they had the unwritten rule that they needed to play with other people, and that worked for them. So that's fine. So if that's one thing, you could start with that. Like, and then the second thing is to dig a bit deeper. Like in the case with talking with this student back then, I asked, if you weren't playing your own, like, what would make you do it? And it emerged, like, for some reason, they had the number in their head. If there was 20 people in the room, only 20, they'd play for 20. But if there's more than 20, they'd be too nervous and didn't want to do it. You know, and that only came out after we talked for a few minutes and I dug around with a few questions. So I would suggest go out and play with somebody first. For example, if you were to play with your sister or a friend or somebody, you could do that. And get up and do a couple of songs. And if you sang 3 songs and know that everything was okay at the end. And the cool thing is, right, some people may come up and compliment you afterwards, especially if you hang around after you play. And I would recommend that. Not to be like hang around waiting for compliments from everybody, but wait around long enough. Just if you're talking with people, and if a compliment happened to come your way, because hearing that feedback from strangers is valuable. And if nobody gives you a compliment, it doesn't mean it didn't go well. Like, literally nowadays, look around a pub, everyone's on their phones. Like, people are busy. So, like, you know, it's okay if it doesn't happen as well. And because of that, now you've stepped out, you've played live in front of a group, you've played with somebody, you've done a couple of songs. I'm going to put out numbers here. If you were to play 3 to 5 songs with one person, that would be great. Then the next step will be to play by yourself. And I frame it as by yourself. Often the term on my own feels a bit more lonely and a bit more that there's weight on your shoulders versus by myself, you know, or flip them around if it's the other way around for you. But then to step out on your own, what I'd do is I would play for a group of friends first at a house party, at a gathering, bring the guitar, play for a group of friends, right? Odds are they'll like it. They should. You asked this question, I've heard you sing and play. It sounds lovely, and so has everybody in the community commented as well. And then what you could do is bring that group of friends, if you were to book a gig in a bar, or if you were to play an open mic, bring that group of friends. So now you're playing on your own, and your support unit that was beside you on the stage, it's you this time by yourself, but now your support unit is in the crowd. So you still have support, it's taken out of your personal space and it's now in the crowd. And then odds are they'll clap loudly, they'll get the crowd clapping, and then hang around after you've played. And if playing a full gig feels like a whole lot of work, do an open mic, or do a gig where you do half and half, where if you had a friend or a relative who played, maybe you could half the gig. And if it feels too daunting to be the second person on, be the first. Go first. And again, hang around after the gig, see what people say. So that's the thing. You'll notice my answer was around doing, around getting out and doing, because that's where the confidence is built and comes from. And there's always levels of environments you can play in. There's levels of comfort. You can step outside. And the other thing is, let's slip in there now. The other thing is, like, when you've played on your own, yes, that's what I was going to say. Like, the confidence. I'll just add this in as a small piece. It's rare it happens. It's really rare. Like, one every, I don't know, 40, 50 gigs that somebody complained about the music. And I'll just finish on that little piece that if somebody was saying that wasn't positive or wasn't encouraging or supportive, you just don't know. Like, I've had people come up to me after gigs, after Jaeger bombs and after Fat Frogs and 10 pints. And, you know, it's kind of like, I'll take compliments and praise from somebody at the end of the gig, but if somebody comes up giving out about it being loud or why didn't I play such a song or whatever, it's always been about the choice of songs. It's never been about the playing or personal stuff. So if there's any worry about anybody ever coming up after like that, it rarely ever happens. And if it does, it's because it's a statement on them rather than you. Okay, I hope that helps. And yeah, just get out there. Get out there. You're ready. You're ready. Seriously. Okay. So I hope that helps. Okay. Next question came in. And by the way, if you have any follow-up questions or anybody does, ask away by all means. Question from Thomas. I'm saving up to buy a Taylor. Nice choice. So far visiting the guitar store, they have Taylor GS Minis on display. Which is better, the Baby Taylor or the GS Mini? It depends on your use case. Like, if I have a choice between one or the other, I'd pick the Baby Taylor. But in the back of my mind, the two use cases are making videos, that it fits in the frame of the video. The Baby Taylor is very good for that. And two is travel. That's my two reasons. So for you, Thomas, I would sit down and look at both guitars, and just from a size standpoint even, write down the benefits and the drawbacks of each guitar in your own mind. Are you planning on traveling? If that is with the guitar, if that's the case, it's Baby Taylor, like without a doubt. I've brought it on airplanes because it's so small. You can get it past the security and get to the boarding gate before there's a problem because it's so small. And then the GS Mini is lovely. It's a fuller sound. But if you already have a big acoustic, the GS Mini is a smaller size. But I don't know, the Baby Taylor kind of calls out. But by the way, like, go and play them as well, because I know you play by feel, and see which one feels better to you as well. You know, that's the other factor as well. You know, like I'm answering from my own 10 years experience of having a Baby Taylor. But I've seen students get the Mini and they've loved it as well. All right, hope that helps. Okay, I have one more question here, and then I'm going to get in. A question came in around recording and iPhones on guitar. Right, so question came in from Steve, and the question was around what do you do when you're playing a song by yourself and the solo part of the song comes on. So there's a guitar solo in the song and you're there just playing chords on your guitar. How can you make it sound more like the solo, or what ideas could you do? So the first thing is, if it's a long solo and I'm playing it live, I don't play the chords. I just cut the solo. If I have no solo, I cut it. So if I was playing on my own and I was doing another brick, I wouldn't do another brick in the wall as an example. Classic iconic solo, if I'm playing on my own in front of others, it's not there. So I leave the song out. So I avoid it. And then if it's another type of song, and I'm naming these in simplicity, in order of simplicity, I would hum or la the medley or something like melody. So like, so if I was going like, don't cry, do 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 do. And if you're playing with a group, and like people tend, like some of those solos are iconic, they'd kind of la around as well, you know, because people love the melody. So that's one thing you could do. The other thing you could do is play extensions of chords, right? So I'll use Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses as this example. So like, let's say if I go, and I sing, see there, it's kind of like there's elements of extra stuff. I'm doing G sus4, I'm doing like D sus2, I'm just tweaking the chords and tweaking the rhythm a bit. And that's enough to vary. Like, it doesn't sound like then like I'm playing a verse and I forgot to sing, or a chorus and I forgot to sing. It doesn't sound fully empty because I'm filling up the space with rhythms and with those chord extensions. And also then the last thing on it, and this is the most difficult one, this is where you would go playing a melody with the chords. So like, I'm not sure, I haven't practiced this, so give me a sec. So, tonight. Do you know, like you can hear little bits of the solo there and the melodies being played with some chordal accompaniment. And yeah, like it takes a serious hit in terms of quote unquote production quality or like playing quality, unless you learn melodies and chords and you nail everything. But there's elements there, you know? So that would be the other thing you could do. Okay, so in a nutshell, don't play the song. If I played Hotel California without solo, I wouldn't play it. People expect the solo for it, you know. Unless I had somebody there to la it out or hum it out. Unless then I vary the chords and do extensions like sus2, sus4s, 7s, major 7s, minor 7s, and vary the rhythm, like just, you know, just busy it up a bit, because solos do tend to make the song busier. And then finally, play a melody with chords. And that can be tricky to navigate, but there are some cool tricks you can do, especially if you combine scales. Like if I do the C major scale, and if I go, you know, I'm basing that around scales, right? So, and you hopefully heard it sound like Hey Jude, I hope. So those are some ideas, okay? Hope that helps. Great question, great question. Now, I want to get to the next question here. This question came in from Declan, and Brendan echoed it as well. I'm just going to take a drink of water a sec. So, it's around recording with an iPhone. Now, so Declan was saying he's getting a decent sound when recording on iPhone, but couldn't get the sound balance right. And even when playing with the Taylor, which is a very full and bright sound, and it wasn't amped, but the phone recording lacks any real clarity and doesn't sound great. Right, now, this is really common. Phones, the mics on phones, like for handling an instrument versus handling a voice. And even with, give me one sec, even with AirPods, they don't do it, like, you know, like things that cost hundreds of euro with microphones and everything doesn't cut it. So what I recommend, and I shared a video inside our community of a video I done years ago, because it's using the setup I'm about to suggest. You've option one, and that's to get a microphone that would hook into the lightning port of your iPhone or your Android. So you get a microphone that goes directly into it. Now the thing about that is, a lot of microphones are lavalier microphones. They're the ones that, like, I have this one on here, but you'd see people with them, the little tip one, but they're designed for voice. They're not great for a guitar. And if you were to sing and play, you mentioned balancer, if you were to sing and play, it's going to get your voice first, guitar second. And you'll notice here with all the videos I've done with these ones, this is the Rode. I sing like so quiet because it's way louder than the guitar. So you've that struggle, and like if you're focusing on putting a video together, you don't want to be there in your head trying to balance both out. So what I recommend is, first of all, a microphone. It's an AT2020, and I've done a ton of Googling before on microphones, and I'm going to share this one here. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, this is the AT2020. It's like 88 quid on Thomann. And I don't know, those of you who are familiar with Jocko Willink, he's a huge podcast. Last time I checked, this is the microphone he's using. Like, he's millions of subscribers, an €88 microphone. So it's pretty good. Pretty good, as Larry David would say. So basically that one there, I'd get that. And then that raises the question, well, how do I hook it in to my phone? And that's where I use this little jobby here, the IK Multimedia iRig Pre HD. This allows me to take the microphone, plug it into this little box, there's the mic input, and then connect it into my iPhone. Now, the benefit of this, I know you might be like, Jesus, that's two things. In this day and age, why can't I just buy one thing? You mentioned balance, right? And the thing about the balance is you don't want to record and then realize after you've done a good take to go, God almighty, my singing was louder than my playing was quieter than, like, you know what I mean? With this little box here, there's a headphone out on the box and it allows you to wear headphones. And then what you could do is, Declan and Brendan, as you play, you'll hear in real time if your singing is coming out louder than you're playing, right? So that would help. And I've shared a video in the community of, I'd done a ton of YouTube videos with that years ago, a ton. I haven't used it. The box, one of the wires got frayed, and then I got this wireless system, so that's what I use. It isn't as good for guitar as this, right? So that mic and that. And then the beauty of it then is, like, you can record it then and add on a bit of reverb or do whatever you like then after that. All right, so that's what I would recommend. Unless anybody here has any suggestions on one microphone device, you know. The beauty of the AT2020 is, let's just say you do other recording on a computer, or you have a little recording box. Do you know those red Scarlett Focusrite boxes, I think they're called? If you're doing any home recording on your computer as well as the phone, that AT2020 is a beast of a microphone. I've used it for vocals on their own. I've used it for guitar on their own. It's really good. All right, hope that helps. Let me see. Okay, cool. I think those are the questions. Now I'm going to go to the chat. Let's see what we got. Okay. Welcome in, Noel. How's it going? And welcome in. I think I said some of these hellos already. Declan, how's it going? Alrighty. I'm just checking here for questions, comments, others. Dan, what's up? Welcome in. Okay, question. Okay, excellent. Okay, here we go. So question from William. Tips on dropping back in when, if, not if, I get lost. So I'm finding that the music is flying by so fast it's difficult to get back in. Okay, brilliant. So quick context. So William, so I'll say that you're playing with the group and you all have your own parts, and some of the music's going so fast that if you drop out, you're trying to figure out where to get back in. Okay, so what I do is, and this takes a while to train, like it's conscious, and then you'll start doing it instinctively after a while. Like the way, you know, that if we were jamming and you're on a G and then I change to E minor and you realize that, oh, chord has changed, but you'll get E minor instinctively quickly. You build up that speed in the muscle memory eventually. But for now, what you do is, in that moment that you drop out of the music, you have a quick decision frame to make, and it depends on the piece, it depends on the speed of the piece, it depends on what you're learning or what you're playing, that, like, if it's something that I could get straight back in with straight away, I come in on the next bar or two. If it's something that I need to get my bearings to get back in on the next part, I'll just look and I'll go there. And you read sheet music, so whichever looks less busy. So my eyes would go there. But I'd always aim to get in back as quickly as possible. And that comes with feel, and that comes with trial and error. There'll be times where you might join back in, but you'll have felt that gap of going, geez, it just sounded like I stopped playing for a while and I just literally waited to come back here. Whereas if you'll get better at spotting where to jump in. You know, that's the key thing. And the quicker you can pull the ejector chord, I'll put it that way, in when the playing doesn't work out, in the bar that you've gotten lost in or whatever's happened, the quicker you can put your energy into jumping back in quickly, you know. And sometimes as well, I would simplify where I jump back in. So instead of playing the detailed thing that's in that bar, I might simplify just to get back in quick, and then start laying it on again from a bar or two in. All right, hope that helps. And observe others. Like if you've noticed anybody else fall out, see how they handle it. You know, like learn from the others around you as well. Some people, like, you won't even notice, but they would have dropped, you know. So I hope that helps. That's a great question. Great question. Yes, back to our question earlier. I never picture the group of people I playing naked, ever. Let me see. This thread went downhill fairly quick, folks. Okay, hold on. You're welcome, Thomas. Yeah, play them, definitely. Okay. Brilliant, Christian. Thanks for sharing that. And the more people who share as well, I've played the GS Mini, I think 5-6 times, ever. So, excellent. Hey, Andrea, welcome in. The replay will be up, Andrea, if you want to check it out. Okay. William, I'm not sure, is it a condenser mic? My terminology isn't great there now. But if you Google AT 2020, they'll probably say what it is. Oh, you're welcome, Declan. Glad to be of service. Okay, cool. They're all pros, no dropouts. That's cool. But keep in mind though, they would have dropped out in the beginning. We all started, like, you know, you just keep remembering that as well. Like the polished stuff we see on the front end of musicians, we don't see the stuff on the back end, or we don't have seen their journey, you know. So just keep that in mind too. Alrighty, so let's check. Is there any questions over here? And folks, if you have any questions, ask away. I'm here for the whole time. Okay. Hey Sharon, how are you doing? What's my favorite song playing acoustic? Got to Be Real by Cheryl Lynn. Great tune. Okay, so let me see. Hey, welcome in, Utah in the house. Alrighty. So, let me see. Right, how are we doing? Okay, so we've 30 minutes. This is good. They do a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So that was around playing in front of others and playing with others. The other thing to keep in mind when you're playing in a group like that is to put on your learner hat. Like, pretend you just got beamed down from another planet on Earth, and this is if you're playing in an environment with other musicians for maybe the first time or the first few times, and just be wide awake with your awareness and just to notice everything that they do. And I mean all the behaviors and the character traits and everything, like how they pack their gear, how they think about the show, how they think about the rehearsals, how they communicate with each other. Like there's all outside the music, like it's people showing up to play the music, but the personalities and the traits and the behaviors and the habits and the mindset of the people, like just be curious and look for clues, you know. God Almighty, I went from playing at one stage, I went from playing with somebody who, let's just say, they might get paid €50 for a gig, and then I went 1 week playing that, and then I got a gig with somebody who charged €500 per person for a gig. And the approach and the mind, like there was so much like to learn from both in great ways. But that's what I'm saying, like you notice so many things. And a lot of it isn't to do with the music, it's to do with what they're bringing to the music. All right, so excellent, excellent. Okay, question. I'm fishing for questions. Okay, so my picks tend to rotate when I'm playing any device in that. Yes, that is so common, Christian. So first thing is check the type of pick you're using. I like these not gin, sorry. All our talk of drinking, folks, is starting to taint my mind, right? Jim Dunlop picks. The reason I like them, they have a little coating on the top. You can also get like maxi grip picks, Christian. And because of that, what you can do is with them, they'll just, there's a bit more friction on them. The other thing to watch is like, just check your hands. Some people's hands tend to sweat more than others, or even have a coating on them, you know, just dry the hands or just add a bit more friction in. Then how you hold the pick is one of the reasons for a lot of players. And I was teaching somebody today actually, and they were holding the pick here. Now that's really common, but when I move down the strings, keep an eye on the pick here. I'll actually do this here. Watch. Okay. You can see how much of the pick is on display there. And it's actually twisting around in my hand. So I never hold it that way. I always hold it this way. Like right up close to the top. And that's part one. Hold the thumb is right up close to the top. So that's, because when you think about it, that's the only part of the pick that's going to make contact with the string anyway. So this does nothing. So right up to here. And then the second thing is the index finger underneath. Your thumb is one part, but the index has got to have it cradled well. So for example, if you're doing this, it's going to slip. Because watch, I'll do this here. Check this out. That is so easy to move about. Because I don't have any grip in it, but watch. If I hold it here, I can't move it because I have the grip made here now, and there's like my grip is taking up most of the pick's real estate. It's mostly taken up by my grip. So if any outside force comes to try and budge the pick, it can't win because there's too little of the pick to work with. See that? Now watch. Now I can slide it around. Right? So that's what I'd recommend. And then when you are strumming, not to grip it, like the idea here now is that the work has been done by using most of the pick space to hold it. We don't need to have like a super hard grip, otherwise we get into that mechanical strum category and you want to keep it nice and smooth. Okay, so give that a go, but the pick type does matter as well. So Jim Dunlop 0.88 mm nylon, that's what I use. And the Tortex ones, the surface on them I don't like. They're really common, but yeah. So hope that helps. Great question, and you're not alone. It happens a ton of us. Okay. Great. Second option is to use Crazy Glue, as endorsed by Brendan. Okay, so I'm joking. Anybody watching this, do not use Crazy Glue on your picks. Okay. Excellent, Thomas. Good work. Nice to see the pick isn't slipping so much. And it does take time. It does take time. And I'll add this one in. A serious tip is some people drill a small hole, and some picks do come with that hole. Yeah, 100%. It just fits a bit better. Thanks, Brendan. Okay. I'll be drinking gin zero. That's what I'll be doing. Gotta have a clear head for all this teaching. Yeah, exactly. So Dan shared there as well. I'll just post this here. Dan's who's in the community as well as Brendan. The Dunlop picks, the name and the lines give you something to grip onto. So true. And okay, question from Noel. Do I buy my picks in bulk? Yes, I do. I buy the Jazz 3s in packs of 6. And I buy, let me check here. Oops. Yeah, got them here. Okay. So, yeah, these are the lead ones I use. These are Jazz 3s. So, they're the red ones. These are so good. Dunlop Jazz 3s. So yeah, so Noel, I buy, these come in only 6s, and then the Dunlop ones I buy in 12s. I did buy, like, I think you used to be able to buy like a 72 pack. And then it's the yin and the yang of it. It's like, yeah, you save a ton of money, a ball of money by like buying in bulk. But I'll tell you something, I care so little about my picks when I have an abundance of them. And when I'm down to having 1 or 2, that's when I suddenly care about like, about them. I don't know, maybe maybe there's a few of you here the same, okay? Okay, let's see. Excellent, so William tried that grip on his pick, feels much more secure, that is cool. Yeah, no, the 88, I do use the 88. The reason I use 88 is because it's easier over time to use a heavier pick and to hold it lighter to get a softer sound from your acoustic, rather than having, like, let's say the .44 pick, the white pick, and try and make it hard. You can't, like, so yeah, so at least you can go light with this. Okay. Okay, question from Christian. I have a really short pinky. When I finger pick, my little finger sometimes mutes the high E string. Any advice? Okay. I'm going to take a look at one of your finger picking videos inside the community, Christian. I'll take a closer look at your pinky just to see, like, when you say it's really short, is it like, I mean, I taught somebody once and their pinky was like down to around here on their hand, like it was super duper short. Like, are we talking that short, or it feels like it's really short as well? Like, just curious. But what I do is I would sit on a chord for a while and I'd try and find that angle. So like, and I'd extend it. So like, I generally like this. See that curl there in the pinky? But I'd do that just to get that bit of reach in the pinky for the G chord, you know? So that could help instead of that, okay? So yeah, give that a try, and I'll take a look at, I'm gonna make a note. Okay, cool. Good question. Hey, you're welcome, Brendan. Enjoy the class. Good luck. Tell them you're training for a guitar retreat. Okay. Ah, nice one, William. Cool. William gets 72 of them at a time. Yeah, I remember. I did that a few. Yeah, good. Thanks, William. Although I wonder, like, in America, is it easier? No way. Did not know about the Eddie Van Halen picks, Declan. I'm gonna have to get one. Okay, cool. Nice. I'll just check here. Is there any questions? Okay. Question. Got any tips for the fingers to touch over the strings while strumming chords? Got any tips for the fingers to touch over the strings while strumming chords? I'm unsure of that question, but I'm going to give it a shot. So when you're strumming chords, fingers to touch over the strings. No, sorry, I'm going to need a clearer question. Is it around when you're strumming chords? What's happening? What is the pain or the problem that's going on? Just let me know. I'll keep an eye on the chat. Okay. Okay. Cool. Right. Now, there was one thing that I was covering today in a lesson, and I want to share it here since there's no other questions and I want to make use of the time. So, I was talking today in lessons about learning different things. Hey Thomas, oh cake, nice. Alrighty, hey, hopefully see you on Thursday. Hopefully see you on Thursday. Thanks for making it in. So in a lesson today, I was teaching a student, and they're at that stage, which some of you know as well, of like you learn a new song, then you start the new song, and then you want to do a different song, but you're kind of aware that you haven't finished the song you're on. And not only that, you have 2 or 3 songs that you had spent a ton of time on that you can play really well. And now there's a little bit creeping in here and there in them that maybe you've forgotten. Or maybe you definitely need the sheets now to play it, whereas a few weeks ago you mightn't have needed the sheet at all. So you're on the current song and you're kind of wondering what to do. So in this lesson, I wanted to give the students something new without overwhelming them, without taking them off their path, and without like it being another new shiny thing. So what I said was, I said we'd sprinkle in some new chord shapes. And these chord shapes weren't going to take a long time to learn. They weren't going to be major work, but there was something new and novel, and the brain likes new, unique things. And not only that, they could go and try some of this new thing in their old songs. And here's what it was. I taught them basically like about making different chord shapes with different fingers. So for example, with the G, they do this or this. And then I introduced them to the C chord with putting the pinky at the bottom. Now, you might be watching this going, big whoop, I can do that already. But have a think, for whatever level you're at, what's something like that that you could just learn something small and new and use it in a lot of stuff. Because with this C chord, it's just the pinky down here. Then with this G, this student now had the choice to go back through their old songs and to use this G instead of their old G, to play C this way now. And not only that, to experiment to see, this is C with the G bass. So it's like a C, ring finger goes up a string, pinky goes down. All right, see that? So that's C with the G bass. Now, the thing about that is you can do this in a ton of songs. So instead of G going to C, you can go. You know, so now the student, they had 2 new ways to play chords, and now they go back and revisit their old songs, they improved their skills, and it wasn't a whole new project, a whole new song. So, just a little thing, okay, that you could try. Alrighty. So, any other questions any side? And by the way, gang, just in case you're going, where are the questions? What I'm going to do next week is I'll have a topic prepared so that we can dive deeper into a topic for even 15 minutes of the call. We can put it to a vote in the community. So at least we can use more of the time, and then there can be questions as well. Alrighty? Forever implementing and learning, you know. Okay? I'm trying to think. Oh, William, on that piece you mentioned around like we'd say losing place in the music and jumping back in. A key thing to look around that as well is what specifically are the reasons that you might be losing your place in that point. So is it happening on using octaves in the song? Is it happening on strumming? Is it happening because you're 4 minutes into this song and it doesn't happen on songs that are 3 minutes? You know, try and find the details so you can do the detective work. And the answer I gave earlier was responding to it happening, but as we say, prevention is better than cure. So if you can start to predict the type of scenarios it could happen, that'd be really good. So yeah, just have a think about that. Andrea, if you're here, I answered a question earlier that you might find interesting around like playing in front of others and stuff. So yeah, the replay will be there as well for you. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's do this. Okay, question. Any advice on how to solve the harmonica part in the guitar in Heart to Gold? Oops, sorry, wrong highlight there. Okay, question from Christian here. How to solve the harmonica? Yeah, sure. Harmonicas in general will play double stops. Double stops on guitar meaning 2 strings at once or even 3 at times. So if I go, right? So that's my stab at Heart to Gold, right? I'm gonna do it. Okay, give me a sec. I'll fire up the old tab here. I'll tab this out. And in case you are not a tab reader, anybody, and you're like, oh, I don't like tab, this is one of the benefits of tab. So I'm gonna write it out. So when it comes to harmonica stuff, Christian, you can play the main melody. And all I did there was, when you asked me Heart to Gold, I thought to the, what's the word? I thought to what key it was in, and I knew a scale there, and I just basically combined up notes at once, okay? Okay, so. Okay. There we go. Alrighty, so what's on this tab is as follows. Now, I'm not going to overwhelm you by, right, and I won't spin the cut right now, the whole thing, but I'll give you that much, right? Any of you want to tackle that, give it a go. Remember that this is the thickest side of the tab. I'll share this after the call. And give it a go, yeah. Ask any questions if you got them. Okay. Now, okay. Okay, so William said it usually comes across a difficult chord. Perfect. So what I do is, like, if there's a break in between, and I don't know, musicals, I've had a pencil, and I've used a pencil to mark the stuff. So what I do, William, is I'd circle all those chords and I'd start looking to see what it is about them. Is it a type of chord? Is it on sevenths? Is it a chord where you have to shape your hand a certain way? Is it a type of barre chord? Is it because the chord came after another type of chord? You know, just circle. And this sounds like a ton of brain work, but the more cognitive load you can put on yourself without stressing yourself out or overwhelming, just in your spare time, the more you can upgrade the guitar brain and bring it into the hands and play easier, if that makes sense, okay? But that's good. That's even good that you're spotting it comes after a difficult chord, okay? Like, it's so much more to go from fast songs to chord shapes, you know, it's so much more specific. Good. Question from Noel. And Noel, can't wait to see you at the retreat, man. It's going to be good. Do you always record acoustic guitar with a mic? Or do you ever record your guitar direct with its pickup plugged in? Okay, so for the videos I do, and today it's the Rode, it's the wireless Rode lav mics. These boyos here I use. Okay, so the mic's there, and it just picks up my guitar. Right, so that's what I've done all the videos on. Then the AT2020, if I was to put down like a full-on guitar mic in front of my guitar, that's what I use. This doesn't have a pickup. There's no pickup on this baby, right? I do have a Takamine underneath the desk here that I can plug in, but generally I don't like to plug in the guitar directly into the computer interface. It's just so tinny on my end anyways. I'll always use a mic. Then if I'm gigging, I plug it into a DI. So I don't use a mic then playing live. I plug into a DI. I have an LR Bags DI, gorgeous DI. Plug into that, can shape the sound. That goes into the PA. Hope that helps. Okay, hey Andrea, alrighty. Oh, you're cool. Christian, yes. Do my job if I'm sounding Irish. Yeah, so I answered a cool question earlier, Andrea, so in detail, and yeah, have a look. If you have follow-up questions, just ask in the community, okay? Oh, okay, thanks Declan. Okay, Declan's learned that using the iPhone, put it on its side, it activates a different mic. Okay, that's good to know. Good man, nice. And by the way, just to let you know as well, the mics are generally the first thing that gets dodgy on an iPhone if it's being banged around a lot, I've found. Both phones here, the original mics on them don't work as well as they used to. Just to let you know. Sad face. Is that the mic recording my voice now too? Yeah, that's the Rode. So, and that's the first generation of them. And to give you a price estimate, myself and my wife, we got these for, geez, I think it was 150 secondhand. Savage mics, really great mics, and you can move around. Like, you have freedom to move. And the thing about the wired lav mics, just in case you ever get them, is from what I was reading and what I found in my own case was after a year using it, a year of the mic leads kind of getting, and they're thin leads, and wrapping it and putting it away, it stopped working and it started crackling. So, you know, just to watch out for the lavs. Yeah. So that's Heart of Gold. And then, like, just real quick, I'll add in a question came in about a harmonica. Yeah, the mic is good for voice. Like, there's nothing being done with the audio source. Like, I mean, literally, it's going straight into the laptop, you know. So then the guitar, you know. But if I was to sing now, that's a heavy load to place into this thing, you know. So we got that. Heart of Gold. That was harmonica. Right, if you ever want to copy a banjo, so that's copying harmonicas, and of course make it harsh. You kind of want to get that blowing sound of somebody blowing into harmonica. And watch my picking technique here. It turns sloppy on purpose. You know, instead of prim and proper. Then if you ever want to copy a banjo on guitar, you simply hold the pick super tight, move out to the edge. You know? Just that tinny sound. And then if you want to do a harp, you basically can pick 12 frets up from whatever note you're on. So if I go here, just creates that nice little sound, you know. So those are a few little sound hacks that you can do. Now, so one or two things I just want to add in here before we wrap up. Number one is the Song of the Month has been released, right? So if you're inside the community, our Song of the Month is up, okay? Yeah, it does sound like a banjo. Yeah, I have a video up. If you YouTube how to make your guitar sound like a banjo, my mug should pop up on the search results. But song of the month, Take It Easy is up, okay? Some nice stuff to learn in it. The main chords are there and everything you need is in it, right? So probably get to work. And what I'd suggest is share a video in the community of your progress, right? Don't wait like a week or two until you've stuff together. If there's stuff that you feel isn't coming together as fast as you'd like it, share it in the video, share your progress, and we can kind of take a look then at it that way. And then the next thing is the guitar retreat is set. And I think there's 5 booked in now, which would be cool. So for those of you in Ireland or across the pond who'd make a trip, the guitar retreat has been set for the 19th and 20th of October. We've 5 booked in and the early bird is available until next Saturday, right? So I've purposely priced it madly low for accommodation and tuition, just to try and get as many to come as possible. So the details of that is in the community, and then after Saturday it'll open out to the public at a higher price, and we'll see who else might come and join us. So if you're on the fence about it or you've questions, drop me a comment in the community. I'm happy to answer any questions to clarify anything, okay? But basically it's set around jamming, and when I was 12 there was a music trip we went on in school, and it was, I think we were 5 nights away. It was a 5-night trip. I barely remember it, but I do remember that every evening there was a music session. Whatever hotel we were staying at, there was a music session. Our music teacher would lead a session, and students from like first year up to, I was in first year, up to other years would play. And it was a baptism of fire. There was, I'd estimate at least 15 to 20 hours of session did I sit in on and play in and not know what the hell was going on most of the time. But over the years, I've backwards engineered that and found out like what worked, what didn't, how to make it easy, how to simplify things, how to challenge yourself if you are playing a song and you're bored of playing G, D, E minor and C in a jam or in a session. What can you do? What can you do differently? How can you like read other players so you can do your thing and not put them off? How can you observe other players and model what they're doing and what you do if a player is putting you off? Like there's all these questions that you cannot, like you can YouTube, you can ask questions till the cows come home, but it's when you're in the environment, maximum learning takes place. And that's what this in-person retreat is designed to do, right? So don't worry, you won't be like jumping through like tires and hoops and stuff like that, but like we'll be setting up some sessions where I'll be engineering the songs and setting up scenarios that you'll learn from, okay? But there'll be a ton of chill out time as well, okay? So if you want to find out more, or if you're watching this, I'll release info to the public after next Saturday. All right, folks, thanks so much for making it in. Hope you all have a great evening. Have fun getting down to the song of the month. And there'll be 2 finger picking videos going up this week on our finger picking journey. We're moving on from 6/8 and we're getting into Travis picking. All right, so that'll be coming as well. As always, have a lovely evening. Thanks for making it, and I'll see you all very soon.